Hey there guys, and welcome back to UnJaded Jade. So today we're talking gap years. I don't know if you know, I took a gap year this year. I travelled, I worked, I did many things, but I just want to get super honest and real and kind of dissect the gap year experience a bit and basically answer the question, is it worth it? What have I gained? Before we delve a little deeper, I just want to say a big thank you to the sponsor of today's video, and that is Unite Students. These guys are one of my faves because they are here for students. They are a student accommodation brand that are really passionate about university students succeeding at university and finding the right accommodation for them, especially being around results day and kind of clearing time. You can go check out their YouTube channel or their blog. I'll leave the links in the description. But they just have loads of useful advice from students. There's advice on accommodation and especially last minute accommodation if you are going through clearing. They're just super useful. I am a fan. Yeah, I feel like I need some tea for this chat. Okay, so I genuinely do think that this gap year has prepared me so well for university. I know you always hear the super cheesy phrase like, oh, you'll find yourself on your travels on your gap year, but I do think there is an element of truth to it. One of the main things that I think this gap year has helped me with is independence. And you can get this from uni too, which is why I think it's gonna benefit me for when I start. But I have matured so much. Like, I am capable of doing so many more adulting things than I ever could do before the gap year. I've had to be away from home and kind of cope with being away from family. I've had to learn how to use transport on my own, budget my money, that's been a big one. Like when I was traveling, I set myself a budget in hostels for food and excursions and everything. And you know, I've got myself into some situations where, like one time in a hostel, I literally had to just live off of the free food in the hostel. So I had some like out-of-date bread with like a small can of sweet corn. Not my finest moment, but you know. I think something else that comes with independence is the amount of time that I have spent alone, just in my thoughts. I have gotten to know a lot about myself, both positive and negative, and I think we rarely give ourselves that opportunity for self-reflection and introspection, as cheesy as it sounds. I don't know, there'd be very long train journeys when I was interrailing on my own where it would just be me for like 10 hours, and in that space you kind of just learn to enjoy your own company. And as quite an extroverted person, yeah, I just think it was good lessons to learn. I think I'm more open-minded to like trying new things, and I also think I have more common sense because I have always been more of a theory person as opposed to a practical person. So yeah, having to navigate things like traveling and budgeting and safety and all that kind of thing, I've gained a lot of worldly knowledge. One of the main things is perspective. I think it's so difficult to gain this when you are in the bubble of school, mainstream education, because you've got this overtone of stress and deadlines, things to complete, so much structure and routine. It becomes your world. Like the grades you get, for me, that was my world. And I think from taking a step back from that, I think it's really affirmed to me that everyone is on their own timeline. I've met people who are much, much older than me who have absolutely no idea what they're doing with their lives. It's also given me perspective on what's actually important in life. That's something I definitely want to take to university with me, a greater perspective on things. Like I met people from Nordic countries like Sweden, Denmark, Finland, and it's so normal for them to take 2 or 3 gap years. Like if you don't take a gap year, you're the weird one. I just found that like mad because it's so not the culture of the UK, really. It's just realising how many beliefs I have are formed by the culture that I live in as opposed to actually things that are right or wrong for the person. I have met so many cool people. I've got friends from all around the world now, which is mad. I've met so many like-minded people who have taught me a lot of things, all different ages as well. Also just general life experience, like more awareness of different cultures. And another thing is having taken time for my mental health. And this is a big reason that a lot of people take gap years or for other external circumstances. I just have felt pretty happy most of the time in my gap year. And obviously happiness is so fluctuating, and there have been times where I've been really stressed, or like things have happened in my personal life that haven't been ideal. But in general, I think I've just had the time to prioritise things like doing yoga every day. I definitely want to take that awareness of taking time for my mental health into university with me. And another thing, and this is a big reason why so many people take gap years, is to save up some money, whether it's for travelling or for university or just to get experience working. And obviously my work is very unconventional. If I imagined myself taking a gap year 3 years ago and imagined myself in the future, I would have quite happily imagined myself working in a cafe or a bar, maybe travelling abroad and working somewhere over there. And I think even if you do just spend the whole year working at Tesco, you will 100% learn things just through working in the real world. But it hasn't all been rosy. So some downsides to the gap year is, obviously, my friends all went to uni. They've all got new friends. They're all having these experiences before me, which is okay. But at the start in like September, when you're at home and all your friends are at Freshers Week, I don't know, it's a little bit sad. And I have experienced the odd bit of loneliness being in my hometown and everyone having moved away. But to combat that, uni will still be there. And right now I don't feel like I've missed out by going a year later. Like, a lot of people start later for various reasons. And also you can visit your friends at uni, which is fun, and like meet their new friends. Another thing which I haven't experienced as much, but I do know that this is a downside to a gap year, so I want to voice it, is being limited by money and funds. I think it's really hard because I know that a lot of you will look at my gap year and think that every gap year will be like that, because I've been so fortunate to have done a lot of different travelling things, and it can be like that. But obviously that's not going to be the case for everyone. Some people have to work a lot more and like save up money for other reasons. So gap years aren't equal, and it can be hard if you do want to travel but you don't have any savings and you have to work for a much longer period first. Yeah, so I just want to voice that it's not all glamorous. Although I would recommend, if you do need to work and save up to go travelling, go work in another country. Like Australia, they do an amazing working visa, and so many people I know just go out there and work because minimum wage is really high, and meet people over there and go travelling. Another quick downside, which isn't necessarily a downside but can be hard, is proactivity. When you don't have an external motivator, like a teacher telling you to do this, this and this for this deadline, it can be quite difficult to bring yourself to plan stuff, to do stuff. And I haven't experienced this as much because I think I'm just quite self-motivated and I quite enjoy having free time to carve as I choose. But I know for a lot of people who take gap years, this is a big thing. And obviously if you don't be proactive in planning stuff, then you sort of get yourself in this spiral of not really doing anything and not enjoying it, but then not planning anything else. I think you just have to be quite on it, like set yourself weekly goals or do a little thing in the morning of what you're going to do that day. Okay, so overall, was the gap year worth it? And I don't know if you can tell, but for me, it 100% was worth it. For me, it was 100% the right decision. I've matured, I'm more independent, and I just feel really ready to jump back into uni and education. Like, I know some people were like, oh, after a gap year I wouldn't want to go back, but quite honestly I think it's the opposite. I feel very refreshed. I feel like, yeah, new challenges. Like, I just, I'm eager to learn. Let me know if you're considering a gap year. I will hop into the comments and try and answer any questions that you have. I really hope this was helpful in some way. Also, if you've taken a gap year and you're going to uni in September and you're struggling with accommodation things last minute, hit up Unite Students. I really do think their platform is great. Thank you so much for watching, and it has been forever since I filmed, so this is cute.